Welcome to the Community Music Learning IJCM Conversation Series. My name is Roger Mantie, and together with Alicia Banfe-Hall, I'm hosting this series. Just so you know, this podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And as another reminder to listeners, this podcast series is a volunteer effort with no financial incentives for anyone. So hitting the subscribe button helps to raise the profile of the series and, of course, helps you so you don't miss an episode. We are here today with Professor Kari Veblen, Professor Emeritus at Western University in London, Ontario, Canada. And Kari, to start off, we have an international audience. And not all listeners, especially, let's say, younger listeners, may know the extent of your legacy in the field of community music. Some people might not know, for example, that you were one of the first associate editors of the International Journal of Community Music back in, I think, 2008 or so, and that you were the co-author of the very influential chapter on community music that appeared in the 2002 New Handbook of Music Teaching and Learning. So, like me, your background is in music education. One of the things we often ask people who have these backgrounds is how and why you got involved with the field of community music. Can you help us understand that?
Thank you, Roger. It's lovely to be with you. I've always been interested in community music, or I've always been involved in making music with others. I remember I was thinking back to when I first started, and I had this funny memory from when I was maybe 5 years old, and we were living in an apartment building in Fort Dodge, Iowa. There were a lot of kids, and I was in kindergarten then. I remember making up stories and teaching, making up the songs and teaching all of this stuff to my friends and enlisting them and telling them what to do. This has continued in different ways. So I've always been playing music. I remember singing in the church choirs, playing guitar or auto harp or tin whistle in different bands, learning flute and playing that in music for weddings, and just always being interested in that. Even when I was at the university, I was always still involved. And then, you know yourself as someone who taught in the schools, when I was teaching an elementary music class, I would leave the class and go to perform someplace or be part of a group doing something somewhere else. When I left the elementary setting and decided I would go on and get a doctorate because I was very interested in teaching and learning and wanted to know more, I decided for my dissertation I would go see how people taught and learned traditional music in Ireland. So I spent a year in Ireland and have spent time off and on in Ireland, watching how people taught and learned. And while I was there, I became even more aware of the communities that surround, encourage, and enable this music to go on. It's not necessarily a point-to-point teaching and learning situation whatsoever, because in Ireland, if you know a tune or you know a song, you then can teach that. That is the strength of that particular kind of music. And so a child could teach a tune as well as anybody else, which is a wonderful thing to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anyway, so I've always been interested.
Lovely. For people who want to know more, not to put you out there too much, but you are, because you are retired, presumably, and because I know you a little bit, you're always more than willing to generously share your time for anybody who's interested. So yes, I'm sure people can reach out
Roger,
to you.
You'll receive your award in heaven, if not here on earth.
Well, listen, in preparing for today, I was thinking back to when I first met you, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was around 2006 or 2007. Now, at that time, I was just a keen and eager doctoral student. And my interests, of course, at the time were primarily in your scholarship. I didn't know anything at that time about your musical activities. And, just so you know, I continue to be so grateful that you and I got to make music together at that pub in downtown London, Ontario, in the spring of 2021, I think it was, just after the pandemic. Things were starting to open up again, and you may or may not know this, but that was in fact my very first time attending an Irish session.
I had not known that.
And so, it was kind of intimidating, not knowing exactly what to do and whatnot. But just so you know, I'm now going out regularly on Thursday nights to sessions here in Toronto, and so I've at that time I believe at that session I probably played about 3 or 4 tunes over the evening because of course I didn't know any of the repertoire, and Now I'm, up to playing about 75 to 80% of the tunes when people just start playing and I can join in because, little by little learning. So I just want you to know that you were a huge inspiration for me musically, in starting off my sort of Irish session career. But can you talk a little bit about your musical activities? I mean, are you still playing? What's going on? Yeah.
Thank you, Roger. That's really sweet. And we should play together again.
Yes.
Maybe I'll come to Toronto sometime.
Absolutely. Yes, please do.
And stay at your house and eat great
Yes.
food. And we'll find time. Well, we'll wait. I'll see how your wife is feeling about that. Anyway, I'm delighted to say that I play music now. I'm playing flute, tin whistle, and concertina mostly. And I'm playing in a couple groups, occasionally in the session, which is at a different place and different time. Mm-hmm. So if you're coming, let me know and I'll let you know where it is.
Okay.
In May, I'm going to Ireland to a concertina workshop held by the wonderful Caitlin McGowan. And so lately I've been practicing like a mad dog, trying to get the fingers to go a little faster. But I really enjoy this. It's a part of my life. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's so nice to hear.
Yeah.
Well, this is the IJCM Conversation Series, so maybe if we can talk a little bit more about your scholarship. Many listeners may be familiar with the 2018 Oxford Handbook of Community Music, but your 2013 co-edited volume, Community Music Today, was actually one of the first comprehensive works in the field. Oh, look at that. She's got it. That's fantastic.
Well, I have a copy here. And by the way, my brother Mark Veblen did this painting.
Oh, see, I love that. No Google images. Oh, I love that. Well, I would hold up my copy, but it's actually at work and I'm at home right now, but I'll be there shortly. So can you talk a little bit about that volume? I mean, how it came about and the impact it's had?
Yes. We were invited this is now by Roman and Littlefield, and they were working with MENC, as it was known at the time, music educators. They wanted a handbook or they wanted something. And we heard about this. I was talking with David Elliott. And so we talked about it and said, yeah, we should do this. In the process of putting it together, we enlisted Steve Messenger and Marissa Silverman as well to be co-editors. Mm-hmm. They were great to work with. The idea for this was to look at this as an international sort of palette, mm-hmm. and then also looking at the different sorts of the different kinds of contexts you could have, whether instrumental groups or in different marginalized settings, hospitals, prisons, that kind of thing. So the idea was to have the first thing of its kind to do that. It was briefly the first of its kind until the Oxford Handbook came along. But it was great fun to do, and I think it was and is a good book. Of course, now it's 10 years down the line, and the world has changed. So
Yes.
the next book will come along soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, that is fascinating. I love hearing the backstories, and that's one of the I guess I would say that's one of the things I've really been enjoying about this podcast series, the most is just hearing all of those backstories. You or may not know this, but your 2007 IJCM article, "The Many Ways of Community Music," is, in fact, the most downloaded and most cited article in the history of the journal. I just checked, the other day, and Google Scholar currently lists it with about 320 citations, which for a small field like community music, is a really enormous amount. I mean, by comparison, my most cited article in IJCM only has 125 citations. So, I mean, that's a big, not that everything is about citations, but just for comparison in terms of the fact that it's so downloaded, so cited. Can you talk a little bit about that article? I mean, why do you think it's resonated so well with readers over the years?
You know yourself, when you write something, you've got no idea what it's going to turn out like or where it's going to go, who's going to read it. You're writing it quietly in your own room, thinking about the thoughts. And with this article, I had been involved in the commission, the ISME Commission for Community Music for a decade, more than a decade, and was just continually inspired by people that I met from around the world who told their stories, and their stories were different. Programs they were trying and things that were happening and how it worked in their locality. And so I was perceiving that community music was kind of a moving target, sort of needed to be put in its contexts. And so this was my attempt for myself to see if I could condense all these thoughts and get it down into a form where I could understand it and feel good that maybe somebody would read it and it would help them get a better idea. But you know yourself, you don't know where things are going to go.
I know, yes, but I know we don't have a crystal ball, and I hear what you're saying there. I mean, we all write, presumably hoping that our work is going to have some sort of impact or make some sort of difference, or that somebody will read it. But as I'm sure you can relate to, I just think about my own work, and some of the pieces that I'm personally most proud of have basically been ignored and not cited at all. And then the things that I think are maybe not as stellar in what they are, they've been cited a lot and seem to resonate with people. So it's
I love your work.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you. All right, now I definitely owe you.
No, I really do.
Well, that's very kind. Well, listen, off the top of this podcast, when I said Professor Emeritus, for people who don't know, that's sort of an honorific title for professors who, not all professors, but some who have had long and distinguished careers, who are then retired. So you're retired. What are you focused on these days? I mean, are there books you're reading or recordings you're listening to or projects you're working on? I mean, what can you share with us?
I've got lots to share. Okay. You sent me a little thing ahead of time, so here's a book that I just read, and it's pretty gripping. It's by Yaroslav Trofimov, called No Country for Love. And this guy's Ukrainian.
Okay.
And it's a story of his mother set in fictionalized form. His mother was Jewish before World War II, living in Yugoslavian, and under the domain of Russia.
Just a few layers there.
A few layers. She lived a very complicated and difficult life. It's a book about triumph, but it's a book about triumph at a cost. And it also illustrates why Ukrainians do not want to become Russians.
Right.
And so this is a hard-hitting book. So after that, I thought I'd do a little light reading. And then when I finished the light reading, I started on the autobiography of Malcolm X, which is what I'm reading now. And I'm quite taken with it. His vision is big vision.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had an interesting life. Anyway, so I've got another 400 pages to see what happens next. But I have a feeling I know already because I looked it up in Wikipedia.
Oh, okay. Well, yes. I mean, those are you haven't just sort of treated the retirement years as like an opportunity to like fade away into like the world of Harlequin romances or anything like that. I mean, you're
there's a little of that.
Oh,
sure.
okay.
You have to have, but I'm not done. Okay.
Right.
So I'm finishing up on a book project, which is a book project for the ISME International Perspectives series with Routledge.
Nice.
This book is on learning music through play in international contexts.
Mm-hmm.
And my co-editors are Steve Messenger and Francis Dubé and Jean-Philippe Dupré. They are terrific to work with. We have 34 authors, and what is special about this book is that it looks at music throughout the lifespan. So it's not just little kids, although there's lots of little kids, but throughout the lifespan and then in different settings and including online, which I personally find fascinating. So this is a beautiful book, and it's due at the end of the month.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
So we are racing
Right.
and speeding.
Well, and maybe I'll just interject to say that maybe when this episode drops, the book might already be out, and so listeners can hopefully look for it. Is there can you say the title one more time?
It's something like music play in international contexts.
Gotcha.
Sorry, it's
No, well, and just for listeners, just for perspective, I know from my own projects that the title of a book changes. It's not uncommon for it to change several times. Like you tweak it and you tweak it and you tweak it. And then when somebody asks you that question, as obvious as it should seem, it's not that obvious because, of course, you're thinking, what title did we eventually settle on?
Yeah, and it's still ongoing. I'm also working on some other projects. I have 3 chapters that they're in different stages, and then 3 articles that are being co-authored now. And I should show you this. One of the chapters is in this book that just came out.
Okay. Can you read that out? Because not some people listen on like podcast series like Spotify and Apple.
It's Michal O'Sullivan, A Life in Music. And Michal O'Sullivan sadly departed us several years ago. And so this is about this Irish visionary's life, his work, his music, his compositions, and his huge contribution to the world through the University of Limerick. I wrote a chapter in here with Kathleen Turner in which we look at the first 25 years of community music at the Irish World Music Academy at University of Limerick. A pleasure to work with her. One article on Scottish bagpipes in Canada is in press. I don't know when it's coming. And the other one is with Anna Beresford. We have been working with people in Ontario who are older musicians who are community music organizers and makers. So much of my work is still involved with this, and I'm enjoying it. It's really fun.
Just incredible. Just incredible. I mean, you continue to inspire and provide such just an amazing model, especially for people like myself who maybe get to a point, in their career where it's like, oh, I'm kind of running out of energy, and then I see what you're doing, and it just it picks me up. So, thank you, Kari, for joining us here today. It has just been such a delight to speak with you, and thank you to all the listeners of the Community Music Learning IJCM Conversation podcast series. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, of course, and we look forward to checking in with you in the next episode. Thank you.
I want to thank our amazing production team, and that includes Laurie Hall, Anu Aldenhoff, and Gabriel Vincent.